So, welcome to commentary for this match between mikechike and Ceviri. I want to say up front, there will probably be some long stretches of silence in my commentary. I have to do some other things as I'm commentating this, so there will be times where I'm not at my microphone. But I am going to try to get at least the start of each game, giving my plans, what I think is going to be the most significant kinds of things on the board. And of course, any significant moments, I'm going to try to catch those as well. But I do have some other things to do. Um, Obviously, the big thing that jumps off the page here is Torturer with villages. You have Border Villager Plaza. Um, but there's also Menagerie as some pretty good source of draw as well. Um, I think you probably end up trying to do a little bit of both of those. Menagerie also works well with Plaza. You're going to have Conspirator for a lot of money. I think my first five I'm probably going to want to be upgrade, unless I get five on turn one, in which case it's going to be Doctor. At some point you're going to need plus buy, so you're going to see way something. I would not go for Gladiator very early, which is just kind of generally true. And then Salt the Earth is probably going to mostly come up in the end game here. I don't think that you can play for it early. There's just too many other things going on that, Torturer Chain if nothing else. So I don't like this Gladiator from mikechike. Young Witch is something to think about, for sure. It kind of goes well with the Menagerie. Giving out the curses is really good. So yeah, I think that's probably a good opener. I really don't like the Gladiator from either one of them. Um, I would like to get to upgrade though, and Border Village would be nice. So I mean, Gladiator is going to help you spike price points better than any other card, but it's only slightly better than Silver. And wow, Plaza seems kind of particularly bad. The Doctor is okay, and it's really nice that it hit the estate, but I'm not feeling it too much. And Ceviri set now seems miles ahead, just much better thinned, and yeah, um, just seems like a massive advantage for Ceviri here. Um, Seaway already, I don't know, maybe it's actually quite reasonable. Um, I expect a lot more menageries coming soon. Border Village is something you're going to want to hit soon as well, so. I would note that I really would not mind getting extra upgrades here, and I don't think I would have spent the coffers on Seaway last turn that Mike Chike spent. But I wouldn't mind at all getting extra upgrades, as you can upgrade into Border Village, which is just a fine play, and you really want to get these coppers out so that the menageries can help draw you some more stuff. I assume you slam Fortune here. Um, I think that's probably good. You want to make sure this was a good play by Mike. He spent exactly enough coffers to get to the Fortune. If you're taking debt, there's no reason to spend your coffers to pay debt. There's a couple edge cases like possession, but in general, um, actually, I'm not sure that possession is an edge case. There are some edge cases, but um, yeah, in general, I'm not sure what this is. I don't know why you'd want to undo that. That seems great. Oh, oh, well, that's a good reason. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, ceviri still looks like they have a massive advantage, and I would expect this to be like Border Village Conspirator Fortune. Actually, the second Border Village might not be necessary at all. Maybe you just go like Conspirator Fortune, or since you're better trashed, Border Village Torturer Fortune. I don't know. Yeah, Torturer's probably not that good. I'm not really seeing a winning plan, and I would not actually disagree with this comment. I do not think that you should be thinking about trying to win next turn. Um, I think trying to set up for that is a good way to lose. I'd be much more concerned about just making sure I maintained my lead. It's going to take a lot to actually empty piles the next turn, and so setting up for that I just think is not worth the investment generally. Um, I mean, maybe it happens, but I just want to make sure that my deck is going to keep functioning and I don't dud out. So I actually quite like Severi's play. Maybe they can win next turn, but it's not, the thing that I'd be going for. Like, you don't get extra points for winning faster. You only get points for, well, you don't get points at all, but you only get points for winning. Looks like, yeah, I don't know. Severi could actually still win. On this turn, that is. They're going to win in general. So if he would have upgraded, instead of upgrading copper, if he could have been able to do another menagerie and then still drawn it all, which it looks like was probably possible, he could salt out here. Um, I don't think it's a big deal that he didn't and can't. Um, but yeah, he does need to think about. Um, Actually, I'm not sure it's a he, but I'm gonna go with that assumption for the moment. Making sure that Mike can't win on his next turn. So I'd be looking at something like um, double province with some border villages and stuff. See, this seems a little bit dangerous to me. I guess it's probably not actually dangerous because with the plus buy being on conspirator and Severi has 7 of those, so Mike only has 2. Let's say he gets the third one and he has a fortune. That's only 5 buys. Um, there's no way he can actually pile out, but yeah, I still think I'd get a province here. The real worst for Severi is with all these conspirators that he just isn't able to kick off at the start of his turn. Okay, back for game two now. You see the bonfire is a powerful trasher. You also see the exorcist helps deal with your estates. Um, Swindler can kind of mess stuff up. There's no village other than Trusty Steed, so that's something to think about. Pool draws really well. Old Witch could be okay. Um, Relic attack is usually strong. Part of me would be very tempted to open Bonfire Exorcist. That's probably pretty weak to Swindler. What's not weak to Swindler? Swindler Pool, as a thing, seems pretty good. Is Swindler really the one terminal you want to play? I'm less sure about that, though. Very tricky. Very, very tricky. Um, Tournament and Treasury as non-terminals help the pool out. Catapult, while usually strong, pool doesn't care too much about it. I'm not sure that going for a quick province is necessarily great. You can get Trusty Steed because it's a village, but I don't know that that helps you that. Like, don't get me wrong, I definitely want to have it, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they do. I'm not in love with the catapult though. It neither gets you to pool or really saves you from pool. Also, I don't think I'm such a big fan of the Exorcist. But they're both going for it, so we'll see how it turns out. By the way, this is the kind of game where you do want tournament, but you can be very concerned about getting too many tournaments too fast. Um, well, not too fast, but just getting too many tournaments, which is problematic because if your deck is all tournaments, then they're going to get blocked at some point. Ceviri should play the Wisps early here. Who's ahead? I think Mike's ahead? Oh, it's really hard to tell. No, I think Ceviri's ahead. I think Ceviri's ahead. The deck seems a little bit better. A little bit less econ, though. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Okay, so that's a moment I think that's worth commenting on. I don't really like giving the lookout there. I mean, it's fine, but I think I'd rather give another catapult. And that's just because uh, you have terminal space issues, because it probably won't really matter very much, as that's likely to happen either way. Um, but yeah, I do like picking the relic up. I guess I should note part of the reason I want Scrying Pool here, as opposed to the other stuff, is that you can nail exactly what you want to nail if you have a lot of Scrying Pools with a Swindler. So I want to get Swindler in that deck. I want one lookout probably to help me thin down early, and it also works okay with the pool. But I want to go for Swindler as my terminal there, and then be able to hit. You know, if mikechike has a relic, there's a good chance I'm going to be able to hit the relic because I'm going to play 3 or 4 pools, and I'm going to hit something good, turn it into something bad. So this is a little bit of a weird play. No, I guess it makes sense. You want to buy gold anyway, so getting the points is just fine. The tournament wasn't actually doing anything for you. It's a smart play, actually. Oh, I don't like this though. The second tournament I really dislike. I think you want to be able to get province on your next turn, and yeah, tournament doesn't get you there. So I don't like that. There, turning Swindler or turning Catapult into Lookout was a lot better, since he's drawing his deck. The Lookout's not going to really do very much. Um, so this is a lot better than the previous time. And there I would have wanted a gold over the treasury. Again, I want to be able to hit. This seems a bit late. I want to be able to hit. Wow, especially if it's buyer's remorse. That seems. I don't think I would grant that. I would have gone for gold. Yeah. But I think that's too late. You've made your decision.
Yeah, that resignation was expected. Ceviri had a massive lead. Those were two kind of bad lookout plays that Mike should have known were bad. But the lead was the big thing. See the next game starting here in a second. Okay. Again, we have Dr. O, 5-2 for Mike with the Doctor. It's pretty nice. Pretty sure you just go for that. There's, again, really no draw here. Militia is going to be very powerful the whole game through. I think that's going to be effectively the terminal that you want, and then you're going to get really effective, just high value treasures. Relics should be really important to try to play like every turn. Gold is good, and then a lot of markets because the cantrip. Cargo ship is reasonable, I suppose, but feels a lot worse than this magical mystical perfect doctor opening for Mike. If I am Mike here, I think I'm getting militia. So it was good to name copper there, and then you got to take the relic there. Yeah, absolutely. You name copper here again, and take your militia now. Okay, I really don't like trader. Um, I expect you to get to the point where you're getting militia attacked quite frequently, at which point silver is um, not a great card. At some point, you also think about pilgrimage, but they're a bit early for that. You want to be able to pilgrimage and get like a market, a relic, and a gold, something like that. I'm also not sure quite how Horde will come into play. I think it probably comes into play kind of just before you're ready to start greening, but not entirely sure exactly the best way to play with it here. Mike is probably thinking that the relic and militia attacks don't really work that well together. And in some cases they don't, but in a lot of cases they do, especially because I think you're going to want to get markets um, such that you really can get hit by both. So, anyway. Yeah, so I'm really not convinced by how Mike played that, but the 5-2 opening was just such a huge, especially hitting to his stage, just such a huge advantage that really wasn't much coming back. Um, yeah, so Familiar and Embargo are kind of interesting together. Overlord actually doesn't seem that great here. It's fine, but not the best. Um, I think you just have to go for Familiar. Um, Doing this here lets Mike potentially think about going Messenger Potion Silver, but I'm actually not sure that that actually works. I need to rework the math. Um, the only trashing here is expanded. Let's talk about this for a second. The only trashing is expand, so it's going to be very hard to get cleaned up. So you really do need to go for some cursing understanding. I expect this to be an embargo. What are you doing if this isn't an embargo? It is an embargo. I don't think that's good. Like, he's going to embargo Familiar here, and Severi's just going to buy a Familiar anyway. And I think Severi's still ahead. Now, in the very short term, Ceviri won't be ahead. Although hitting 5 and 3 potion is a big deal. Um, but Mike is really going to have to. Um, Messenger here is strange. More patrons. Okay. But I don't know. I'm actually not sure though. So the biggest reason that you fail to hit 3 potion is that your opponent has, or that your potion misses a shuffle. That's about as likely as hitting 2 potion. So just giving the extra potion, I'm not actually sure that it like decreases the chances, and I'm not sure that it increases your own chances that much. Although the messenger is actually good in helping you cycle a little bit and getting. So I don't know. Um, yeah, I need to look at that at some point, but I think you probably get 2 familiars as Ceviri, and and then say no more. Although with 6 potion here, I might get something else. 6 is a lot. So Safiri looks kind of significantly ahead to me here. Um, Obviously, Mike does have 2 expands, which are good
for him. But I just think the cursing is going to be too much. Maybe it's kind of close, but I guess why I think ceviri still has a big lead is because I think the strategy of going for familiar is much better than the strategy of embargoing familiar. And so at this point, the game looks pretty over to me. Um, Severe is just going to give out so many curses, and their deck is basically fine. They have an expand, they have extra hunting grounds, they have a lot of forums. Throne room's nice. A couple of villagers. They look pretty well set up. Um, yeah, and meanwhile, Mike is just kind of wheel spinning and taking a bunch of curses also.
ceviri should get more throne rooms ASAP. Also, there is a way that ceviri loses here if they're not very careful on piles. The curses are going to run out, and if Mike can score a few points and then somehow get a pile out, I don't really see the third pile being very close, but that is the way that it happens. But this Overlord needs to be played as a throne room here. Also, expand should probably be expanding something into throne room as well. And province throne room here is what I would do. Yeah, the province is just to make it safe against that kind of thing. Um, I would rather get the throne room than not get the throne room. I don't think that the hunting ground village, the hunting ground finish is very plausible. I expect that ceviri is likely to be able to win this turn based on curses, forums, and throne rooms being out, and then obviously having a massive lead. I shouldn't say a massive lead. Uh, if Mike wants to prevent that from happening, well, he wouldn't have played what he just did. But I was going to say he could expand hunting grounds into province. So actually, he needs to score more than that. That doesn't even work. Ugh. Yeah, this just looks bad. You really can't just say, I'm going to embargo the familiars once and have that be fine for you, especially with Throne Room out, but even without Throne Room, I don't really believe in it. Yeah, what Mike needs to be doing here is, well, I mean, it would be totally reasonable to resign, but you need to try to set up if there is a dud next turn, then I can win on the following turn if I get a good draw. Because there's just no other way you're winning. Like, you should probably even buy Throne Room here. Maybe not buy Throne Room. Okay. Um, a little bit of an odd time to resign, I think. You would either do it earlier or wait for the turn to finish because just throning for him once does not mean that you're good necessarily. I mean, he probably was, but whatever. Okay, this game. Um, so Improve doesn't look the best here because I guess you can get some extra necromancers, but in general, it's not like you want a lot of them. It's probably still okay, but it wouldn't be my biggest, hugest thing. Swamp Hag looks pretty good as the only trashing our zombie form plus Apprentice, and Apprentice is not an efficient curse trasher, and well, neither are the zombies. Um, so I would think that you're playing with Swamp Hag and or around Swamp Hag. Um, Beyond that, what can you do? You get Apprentice. Maybe you get a few apprentices, and maybe if you get enough apprentices, you can go around Swamp Hag. But yeah, maybe that's the way to go. Shantytown improve. I'm not convinced. Okay, and didn't play the Shantytown, so they don't want to improve the Shantytown. They would rather improve the improve, I guess. But if you're going to do this, then I'm a little bit confused. Couldn't you have just opened Shantytown Necromancer? So I don't quite understand that. So now Mike should probably get like Apprentice and Swamp Hag. Oh, well you could do that, I guess. But I would rather turn the Necromancer into a 5 than get another Necromancer, I think. I'm also not super sold on this Faithful Hound. Anyway, let's see how it plays. maybe it's just me, but before the game started, I was not anticipating the shanty towns to pile. Um, or the necromancers, really. So I'm a bit confused.
Moar Shantytown?
No, a faithful hound this time. So I I just want to say that in case any of you who are watching and listening don't realize this, Shantytown with a faithful hound in hand is the same as playing two cantrips. If you play the Shantytown and then the hound. Now, obviously, if the Shantytown gets played, which in a way can draw two cards, and then you play the hound, then it's the same as a lab and a lab, which is a lot better. But in general, there's not a lot of way to set up your Shantytown's not having other actions in hand here. I don't think. This Necromancer needs to be played as okay. You're just gonna apprentice the Necromancer. I was gonna say it needs to be played as a spy, but Noble Rig into 10 seems perfectly fine. So I'm not quite understanding that comment from Apostoloso Ruler. Like, Shantytown is much better here than it normally is. I will grant you that. But there's a long way to go between how good Shantytown normally is and Shantytown is good. It's mostly that Necromancer being Shantytown opportunistically is good more than actual Shantytown being good. And for that, you don't actually need to get Shantytown. If your opponent is going for it, then you can just get Necromancers and have the same effect, basically. Hagler does not leave me particularly convinced now, although I don't know, maybe it's fine. Yeah, no, it's probably good.
Now I expect this to be probably City and oh, a Hound. Interesting.
Well, they're going to be drawing their decks, I guess, relatively soon. I guess.
No, Hound over Gold kind of makes sense to me. He wants to draw his deck. And the gold with one buy isn't going to do much. He's going to have enough money to be able to buy Province.
Now, I could see you going for Swamp Hag. Swamp Hag seems like a pretty good card because it makes you apprentice the curse, if nothing else. Obviously, this is going to be played as a Shantytown. This is going to be this, yeah. So I still like Swamp Hag here, but yeah, Hound over Gold makes a lot of sense to me.
Let's see what mikechike goes for here. Um,
Hound, the other thing about Hound is that you can improve Hound into Shantytown, although the timing on that is not the best. So, yeah, I don't know. So now the cities are going to get close to running, and then it's going to be just a very wild finish. There is no way to mid-turn gain, so yeah. Finally, we get an estate apprenticed. The first time all game. Uh, the bigger point about these piles all getting so low is that somebody's going to be able to haggle to victory or something, like emptying 3 piles all at the same turn, something like that. We'll see what gets selected here. It's Necromancer and Improve. Interesting. I expect Necromancer to go to City here. Yes. I still think I would want a Swamp Hag like every single turn, but not that I want 8 Swamp Hags, but at every point where it's been a choice, I think I would have wanted Swamp Hag, basically. As Apprentice, interesting. I was thinking you would get it seen played as Spy, but I don't know. Obviously, it's going to be Hound next. Yeah. City should be the next play. Again, there is no mid-turn gain here. No, 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 no. I take that back. Necromancer, Zombie Mason can be mid-turn gain. So the game may well revolve around being able to set that up. Of course, at this point, how many Necromancers are in the trash? 5. So between their two decks, there's only 4 Necromancers left, which means it's going to be pretty hard to set up the appropriate Zombie Mason play. It might just be that you luck into it at some moment. But in this case, I'm pretty sure you just need to play City next. The only other option would be Shantytown and then Necromancer as Mason to try to empty the Necromancer and have the city be activated right here. Yeah, that's the only other option. Okay. So now I think I would probably do Necromancer as Mason. And now I'm less sure about it. So this could be as Improve? Yeah. Okay. Now, the choice is between buying Province or Apprenticing Copper and buying something. Now he has 2 improves lined up. He can improve, say, Shantytown into Necromancer, Necromancer into City, and buy City. If he's a maniac who feels like losing this turn. But he could also just activate, one single activate. I don't think I like that. Well, yeah, I think I do like buying provinces, I guess what I'm going to say. But I think Ceviri is basically ahead because of the second Haggler. Yeah, single activation, if Mike does it here, probably wins Ceviri the game. I think, right? say he empties the Necromancer, then ceviri draws deck, has 2 Hagglers in play, should be able to... Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure what you apprentice here. You kind of would like to hold on to a state, because you're trying to win the game, and you'd like to do that this turn. Yeah, so just apprentices Shantytown, but this is not going to work out quite so well. Spy, okay. Haggler. 8 for a province. And what? This is the problem. So I don't think you can touch the cities or the necromancers or really the shantytowns. Okay, so he does touch the shantytowns. Apprentice seems like a good thing to get, I guess. Now, Mike has to figure out how he wins on his turn. So he can apprentice a state because he's going to need to obviously score more than just province here, so apprenticing a state for him doesn't make a big difference. And I think that's where I'd start. He could also apprentice Haggler, but that is going to make it a lot trickier for him to get enough gains in the same turn. I think. Maybe it won't. If he can play 3 improves. And I think he can play 3 improves. So this probably needs to be like Duchy Improve or Duchy Hound. Apprentice into gold. Wow, that does not seem very good to me. Apprentice the city here. Hound. Apprentice city again. Win. Necromancer is improve. Province. City. Turn of... Yeah. Yep. I forgot it was exactly +1. Oh! Oh, we thought improve was up to. I see. Okay. This is the exactly 1 copy of thing. Okay. Summon is a real good. Does patron work with anything? This is look at. Nothing is reveal, right? There might be a boon that's reveal. I don't think so, though. Okay, so I think Patron is just a silver which might villager you, but also works better with minion. Mill also works pretty well there, though. I think I'd get a mill, but I could see a patron and then mill. I'm not sure exactly between those. You probably end up with at least two of both. Go with a raise. Counterfeit. Yeah, counterfeit, especially early on, is probably worth it. It's going to be largely a minion game, I think. Um, you don't worry too much about Wolf Den until the end. The other thing you can think about on exactly 5-2 instead of 2-5 is like summoning Mill, um, which gets you the Mill in a 5, which might not be as good as getting the raise with the 5, but you're also pretty likely to get another 5 the next turn. I don't know. I think Summon Mill might be a better open. Whatever. I like getting a guide against these minions. Having a couple guides should be nice. Sequencing all of this in the right order is a big deal, though, and it's also very tricky. Hard to know what the right order exactly is. But I think where your deck is eventually going is minions, patrons, and mills. And I guess I like getting the patron earlier because you're going to want to have some villagers for that. You assume you just slam another minion here, yeah. Um, you probably try to get rid of the pouch eventually, but because of Wolf Den, but you don't need to do that for a long time. I think 2 buys should be enough. You're eventually going to run out of treasures, and then you're just going to have your one counterfeit, and you'll probably just eat the points from the counterfeit. If you really want to, you could raise it at some point and then raise the raise to itself and get all nice and tidy for that, but it's probably not worth the time. Let's see what mikechike goes for on his 4 here. Both of the 4s look, well, both of these 4s look really good. The scavenger not so much because your terminal space is limited, but you could also get double 2, but I don't particularly believe in it. Yeah, mill makes a lot of sense, but I think I would have preferred a patron first the more that I think about it. I mean, raise is better than nothing, more or less always. Obviously, at the very end with Wolf Den, that might not be true, but it's pretty much better. You probably raise the raise to itself here. Or you could just say, I'm going to take 5. This is look at, right? Yeah, look. Look. I'd probably take another guide here. Is it another? I can't remember who has which, but I would take a guide regardless, I'm pretty sure. Next best option would be silver, and next best option after that is raise, and then probably nothing. But yeah, guide is particularly good in minion games, I think. But ceviri looks significantly ahead here. Obviously going to discard here. I think. Pretty sure you should discard here. Anyway. And then just minion attack. No, he's just going to take his 5 and his trash. I don't remember what these 3 cards are. Okay, this is actually a good hand for Mike. Wow, 5 is a lot of villagers to have stored up here. It's pretty surprising to actually get to that many. Doesn't really matter too much what you take here. You're going to play mill and you're going to discard 2 things. And then you're going to minion and attack. You should definitely discard 2 things here. The reason you should discard 2 things there, by the way, is, and he should discard again here. He'll find his counterfeit for sure. The reason you should discard before there is that either way you're going to have 2 money, whether you play the minion for money or discard it. But in one of the cases you have an extra minion in your discard pile, in the other case you don't. But you'd rather have the extra minion in your discard pile, basically. Yeah, so this should probably be guide minion. But I could see a vague case for like mill patron. But I think I'd go for guide minion. Maybe mill is better than mill patron. Like he just doesn't have any terminals, so it doesn't matter that the patron makes you villagers. I guess that's the point. Maybe that's just true. Maybe the patron isn't useful simply because of that. But tracker I don't like, especially because he doesn't have villagers. So tracker I really dislike there. Um, I think, yeah, I just take the money and, yeah. So this is a difficult decision now. You could summon a 5 or a 4. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. I do like mill better than patron here, but okay, I would get them both at some point. So what I'd be looking to do next if I were ceviri would be get a couple mills. Not sure what unique ceviri has left. It's got to be a 1 counterfeit, probably 1 pouch, and 1 copper, I think, or a raise perhaps. Probably 1 raise and a couple of coppers. Not sure what boons you want. I'm trying to think of a boon you want. I'm having a hard time. The Earth's Gift is the one that lets you discard a treasure for a 4 cost. If I have a treasure in hand, I'm going to be pretty happy with that. But I definitely summon here, but I might just summon twice. The only reason I would think about doing something besides summoning twice, I think, would be because I have 1 tracker and I'm going to want to get a second one eventually, but summon mill and summon mill. See, I think I would want a patron, especially with the tracker. Okay, so now he's down to 1 copper, ceviri that is. I think I would still build here. I might triple summon. I think I'd like summon 3 mills or something. Yeah, I think all of these patrons is too many patrons. I might take a gold. Another counterfeit. Ugh. Yeah, you're not going to be able to make use of these counterfeits really. They're just going to be like coppers that come with buys. Um, yes, it scores 3 points, but again, you don't have to worry about that until very late. Like it's better than Duchy, but you would not be considering Duchy, so I don't know. Maybe he just really thinks he needs the buys. But it's going to kind of be hard to get all of those buys all together very much. I don't know. I still want Mills. Mills seem good and generally better than extra patrons. Mostly just because they score a point. The mix is nice. So 14 and 3 buys or 15 and 4 buys? 15 and 4 buys. Summon Mill. Summon Mill. Buy a counterfeit. If you're going to summon Tracker, I think you just buy Tracker and something. So now I think I would take Province Mill. The issue with Mill is that they could run out before you get your second one, I guess, at this point. So maybe you don't do it, but especially as he's going to be starting to green, the Mill is going to look more attractive. With only 3 buys, I don't like doing something that's not Province though. I guess he could go like Nobles Province, but that just kind of seems worse to me. I mean, he's still going to be able to double, right? He has 1, 2. Yeah, Nobles Province might be fine. Okay, I don't like the summon though. Like, I think you should just start scoring, really.
Discarding or not here, I don't think makes much difference. I would definitely keep playing this out though. He should be far behind, but ceviri is not scoring as fast as ceviri ought to score, which gives some real hope, I think. Discard. Okay, no, you don't counterfeit, you just play them. Now, if he triple summons mill, how close is he to a pile out? He could have 4 buys, so that would leave him 2 gains short. So not that close. But you could province, summon mill, buy a tracker. Summon mill seems kind of easy. You could also just like mill nobles here. Province. Is he gonna tracker? See, I think I'd rather raise my tracker than get another tracker. Especially because he's gonna have problems with terminal space. This was a good call from ceviri, not discarding at the end there. Summon. I expect summon here. Like, I still want mills, but I think that ship has sailed.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, I think I'd summon patron, not guide. By the way, I actually think boons are bad here because boons can gain you a card you don't want to gain for Wolf Den, a silver or a wisp. And I think that's actually a bad thing. So yeah.
So Mike kind of needs to keep summoning here, but it looks pretty bad. Like you summon mill by probably a raise. Um, there's only the potential for 4 buys from Ceviri, so you don't have to worry about the game ending immediately. You score 2 points, um, and you can score 8 points with your next province on the next turn. Of course, you do run into the problem that on the next turn you're out of stuff to summon. So yeah, it looks pretty bad. So the problem for Mike here is normally I would say you play to hope for a dud from your opponent, from ceviri. Here, though, ceviri has a guide, which makes a dud pretty unlikely. I'm not actually sure whether ceviri tries to draw or not. I think you just have to end there. Whoa. So Mike is keeping copper here? I guess he's going to say, I'll get it next turn? I don't... Right, he could have not discarded, had the same amount of money, still doubled, and just not had the copper. He's saying, I would rather have copper than not have copper. Which doesn't seem good to me. I think you would rather not have copper than have copper. The old dud with guide around. Yeah, I guess you do that, and it is possible. I mean, anything's possible in Star Trek. You just province here is ceviri and you're more or less fine? Are you? Maybe you're not. Um, see, Mike has one counterfeit and one copper. Okay, I think that was game 5, so I think there's one more left. Oh, was that the last one? All right. Well, thanks for watching in that case, everyone. And I like feedback for if it makes sense to do this or not. If I can't, just commentate all the way through. So, yeah, please let me know what you thought. Obviously, if you got this far, you did watch and listen, so um, clearly you thought something was right, which means I'm biasing the feedback I'm getting, but I did not think to ask for this kind of feedback at the start, so yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody.